There's a bottle on the dresser by your ring, and it's empty. So right now I don't feel a thing, and I'll be hurting when I wake up on the floor. But I'll be over it by noon. And that's the difference between the whiskey and you. Come tomorrow, I can walk in any store, it ain't a problem. They'll always sell me more, but your forgiveness, well, that's something I can't buy. There ain't a thing that I can do. And that's the difference between whiskey and you. One's a devil, and one keeps driving me insane. Sometimes I wonder if they ain't both the same. One's a liar, helps to hide me from my pain. And one's a long gone bit of truth. And that's the difference between the whiskey and you. Well, I've got a problem, but it ain't like what you think. I drink because I'm lonesome. I'm lonesome because I drank. And I don't break down and bring it on myself. It'll hit out of the blue. And that's the difference between the whiskey and you. One's a devil, and one keeps driving me insane. Sometimes I wonder if they ain't both the same. One's a liar, helps to hide me from my pain. And one's a long gone bit of truth. And that's the difference between the whiskey and you. Oh, that's the difference between the whiskey and you.
Live and local, Terry Allen's Guitar Bar in the studio tonight with Cody Newby and East Cache Creek. Hey, Cody.
Hey, how are you?
I am so glad to have you back in the studio. It's been a while. Again,
it's been a while,
you know, and I know that you brought 3/4 of the group with you tonight.
We did.
We'll have to talk to Lynn in a couple of minutes, and he can explain where Shelby's at tonight. We'll get him on the mic in just a couple of minutes, and we'll talk about that. Of course, we've got Dylan, we've got Lynn, and Cody Newby. Big things happening for East Cache Creek right now. So excited for you. I have my hot off the presses copy of 6 Miles from Bowie.
If you can't laugh at that name, there's something wrong with you. I mean,
well, I have to laugh because it's just stinking funny, especially the little song that you played just a couple of minutes ago. You don't get any snippets from that one, I'm afraid, because it's still not ready yet. We're still working on that song, but there's a great story behind it. We're going to talk about that as soon as we talk about that song you just sang, "Whiskey and You." Chris Stapleton. That's Chris Stapleton song. Yes. And, of course, if you say now, who is Chris Stapleton, I'm going to say you've been living under a rock for the last week and a half.
That's right.
Because Chris Stapleton, it was funny because Seth, my morning show partner, said yesterday, he said, you know, before the CMA Awards, he searched for a picture of Chris Stapleton on Getty Images, and there were like 5 pictures. After the CMA, there's like 30 pages of pictures.
Well, yes, yeah.
Everybody wants to jump on the Chris Stapleton bandwagon. And but, you know, I have to tell you, I see so many similarities between you and him. First of all, because you're both singer-songwriters, right, and because you write songs that come straight from the heart.
Right.
You know, and that's so important when you're writing songs, as you well know, because we've got a whole brand new stinking CD 10 songs straight from the heart of Cody and Dylan and Lynn, the whole gang from East Cache Creek. How does it feel to know that it's finally done?
It's a big relief, honestly. I mean, we worked our tails off on this record, and I really feel like when we got to the studio and started recording, the work really showed, because we're hammering out songs 1 to 2 takes each. And, you know,
and that
even
just
the
doesn't
engineers,
happen.
No, it doesn't. Even the engineers were like, wow, you know, you guys came in ready.
Well, didn't you tell me you had X amount of studio time booked and you didn't need it all?
We had 30 hours booked, and I think we finished up in like 18 and a half.
Wow.
Something like that. We had every song laid down in 18 and a half hours. And that's vocals, guitars, bass, drums, everything in about 18 and a half hours.
We started the first day at 10 o'clock. And me and Shelby were done with the bass and the drums by like 4:30 that first day.
Wow.
All of it. So.
And bass and drum tracks in 1 or 2 takes each is unheard of. It just, but
again, look who you have.
Well,
I mean,
the thing behind that though is don't think we didn't work. We got to where I'm speaking personally. We played those songs up and down, front to back, over and over.
Well, I knew you'd been doing a ton of practice beforehand.
Yes.
You know, you were telling us that you guys were practicing nonstop to get ready to go for that.
We were. And the week we were leaving, we practiced, I think, 3 times that week before we ever went down there.
Wow.
We are not a garage band. We are a barn band.
Yeah, that's the truth.
Barn.
Yeah, the practices line up out there at the barn by the house. But, it works out. We're out away from everybody. We can get loud. We can do whatever we want.
You can be as loud and rowdy as you want to be.
And we can cuss and scream and yell at each other, and nobody knows it but us. So.
Okay, now I'm going to ask you this question, and this is probably like asking you to pick your favorite child. What's your favorite song on the CD?
Man,
because I know they're all your favorites.
I tell you what, the one I'm most impressed with is probably the one that Dylan wrote. She Never Knew, and just the musicality of it and the way it flows with the lyrics and Lynn's real pretty, line
real
on
pretty
string
guitar playing. That guitar playing, Lynn, you did a good job.
Yeah,
man, it just that song, and I've told Dylan several times, man, it just fell together. And don't get me wrong, I love all of them. I love all of them. There's not one on the album that I would say I'm not satisfied with.
Well, I hope not, because you worked really hard on all of them.
I'm a horrible perfectionist, though, is the deal. And Lynn's the same way. We'll sit and listen to them, and even on the mix and stuff, and we'll pick it to pieces.
Well, you were telling me the first night whenever I got my copy of the CD, you said there's not anything that I can pick apart on this CD.
Right.
That's huge.
Well, and first go out of the box, as soon as we got them, I opened one and I put it in my truck and I listened to it continuously for days. And I went, you know what? It's pretty good.
Yeah.
Well, I have to tell you, your mama stopped by to see me, and she had like the first 6 cuts or whatever they weren't completely edited yet, and she's just a ballin'. She just loves you guys so much and so proud of what you guys are doing, and of course. She's absolutely right. I mean, the music is good, so she has every reason to be proud. Dylan, set up the song. We're going to go ahead and play She Never Knew. Tell me a little bit about the song, how it came about, and then we'll play it for you.
Well, the background of the song is, at the time, I was actually married, so everybody's always like, where'd the motivation come from for that, And really, it was just one of those things where I was thinking about, this happens to so many people, getting the courage up to be able to speak to somebody, you know? And so that's kind of where the background came from it. And I sat down and wrote it in probably about an hour, and then called him, and he came up and put the very first music to it, and we had it down that same night. So
I tell you what amazes me about you songwriters is how you can get an idea and an hour later have a song. I mean, I just don't. I guess I don't think in those realms like that.
Well, some of it's not even like that. Like on He Never Wore the Hat, which is I've played before in here. A song I wrote about my grandfather. I sat up in bed one night from a dead sleep, and I wrote that song, had the song and music in 15 minutes.
That's such a huge gift. I mean, I hope you know how blessed you are.
Absolutely.
And it's amazing to be able to do that. And I'm surrounded in this room with a ton of songwriters tonight, and I think that is. It's just such a gift.
Absolutely, and it's a gift not to take for granted, because as a songwriter you also go through dry spells. I've went a couple of years and not wrote a thing, so it feels like kind of part of you's missing when the inspiration's not there, and then you might go through a couple of weeks and write 10 songs.
You just never know. It
just
just happens. Do you ever sit down and just say, I'm going to write a song?
I found for me personally, if I try to do that, I can normally maybe get a verse out or something, and then I'm just like, I don't know what I'm doing from here.
Well,
I think some of our best stuff has, like Cody said, you know, you just, something clicks and you write one thing down and it just flows, and then the next thing you know, you got a song, you know, and that's some of my favorite ones because they're so fun, because it's just like boom, boom, boom.
Well,
you get
and they're
music
so real.
and you
They're
get
so
music
real.
and everything all at once, and it's crazy.
So
really.
do you guys collaborate a lot? Cody and Dylan are brothers, for those of you that don't know. Do you collaborate on your music a lot, or do you always take the lyrics to him and say, hey, I got to figure out some music?
Yeah. He I've got a couple other songs I've wrote that we haven't put together yet, but most of the time, like, I don't play a whole lot of acoustic guitar. I kind of suck at it, but
well, you got the bass line down really well, though.
Right,
Well, don't
right.
sugarcoat it, you know what I mean?
But yeah, any song I've ever wrote, by the time I was happy with it, probably within the next 30 minutes or so, I at least gave him a phone call and was like, hey, I had this idea. We got to get together, put this together, you know, so.
That's awesome.
It's pretty cool.
That's the way we've done as a band, too, you know, is musically, a lot of these songs that you're going to hear on the record didn't start that way. It's everybody's flair coming together. You know, Lynn's an excellent guitar player. I don't tell him how to play guitar. I don't say, this is what I want you to do. I just say, hey, play
He knows
something.
what to do.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, and Shelby on the drums.
He's
like,
amazing.
What do you want here? What do you? I'm like, I don't care. Put what you want there, because this is our song and it's your vibe on your instrument.
It's the whole
you know.
band, right?
So,
That's kind of like the cut mud.
yeah,
That was actually
Here,
co-written.
move that mic over him so I can hear
There's
him.
a song on there called Mud, which started out written by Skipper Bivens
Right.
from Hillbilly Hand Fishing.
yeah.
He said, I've got an idea, and gave us some ideas. And we took some of the lyrics, and then that was about all. After that, it took a whole different perspective. We wrote some lyrics. Cody's got a rap in there.
I know. I love it. We're actually going to hear that one a little bit later on this hour, too, because I can't wait to hear it off the new CD. You've done it in here for us.
Yep.
So excited about that. Well, let's play She Never Knew now. It's from the brand new CD from East Cache Creek, 6 miles from Bowie. The song is She Never Knew. You heard it here first on Oklahoma's Best Country, K-Law 101.
The sun was shining down on her hair. The minute you saw her, oh, you had to stare. You couldn't stand it, you couldn't leave. Your heart was pounding, you couldn't breathe. You wanted her so much, and she wanted you too, but you didn't show her, so she never knew. The rain was pouring, but her eyes were bright. The greenest of green, oh, what a beautiful sight. And in that moment, you both saw that's what was missing in your lives after all. You needed her so much, and she needed you too, but you couldn't ask her, so she never knew. You wanted to tell her, but you got cold feet. Now you're kicking yourself as she walks away, because those 3 words were all you had to say. Well, you loved her so much, and she loved you too, but you didn't tell her